What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to teach you how to draw one of the most iconic Disney duos, Lilo and Stitch. So grab your pencil and let's get right into it. Thanks for joining me today. Alrighty guys, so to get started on Lilo and Stitch, what we'll need today is a sketchbook or a piece of paper, a pencil, and I'm going to be coloring this with colored pencils. So if you want to grab some colored pencils or even markers, you can join me at the end and we can get right into it. So first, I'm going to start off with a circle for Stitch here. This scene that we're going to draw here is Lilo and Stitch surfing on a surfboard. Pretty cool, huh? So what I'm doing is going really light here because that's the goal with these basic shapes. These aren't like the main focus of the drawing. These are just the foundations. And so I'm starting off with a circle, two curved lines that go to make off Stitch's face. All right. Now from here, I'm going to do his ears too. And from this curved line that we did, we're kind of going to make a line that goes straight up here. And it's going to go curving down and connecting to the left side of the circle here. That's going to be where his first ear is going to be. And then from a little to the right here on top of his head, do another line. We're going to connect it to the bottom on the right side of his head. All right. Now for his body, it's simply just going to be an oval. And so from this line right here, we're kind of just going to make an oval kind of just squished under him because he's kind of in a low like pose kind of surfing, you know. You got to keep your balance, so you got to stay with the center of gravity, you know. So I don't know how surfing works. I wish I did. Even though I'm like all Hawaii out like with the shirt, I don't surf. I wish I did. But maybe Stitch could teach me, you know. Like he seems pretty good. And now for his arms, they're simply just going to be two oval shapes. It seems really simple, but this is actually the basic shape of his arms, which is really nice. The artist who drew the style for Lilo and Stitch made it really a replicable style to work with in the animation process. And it's actually kind of a unique style. You don't see this kind of style like Lilo and Stitch. And so it's kind of neat. And so I'm just doing 4 oval shapes right here. And then for his hands, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some triangles. They're very small. He has small hands, but they're very delicate. I don't know how to say it because they're very like their own thing. Like the hands take some time to get to. And so that's why we just got to keep it light so we can just make it easy for us in the process of it. All right. Just add those triangles right here. All right. And then for the surfboard, what I'm going to do just to reference the surfboard in this picture for now is just going to do a nice curved line here. He's angled up a little bit, so you want to make it so it's like going up and then down a little bit. But it doesn't really matter too much right now. All right, now for Lilo, she's really kind of hidden behind Stitch, which is kind of nice because we don't have to worry about the whole figure of her character. We just need to worry about her head. And so what we're doing is just going to do a smaller circle than Stitch, but it's not as seen, so we don't have to worry too much about the details here. And so we're going to do that, and then for her head, we're just going to do a line that goes into it like that. And then we're going to do a line for her eyes. They're just going to be a little more above the middle of the oval. So we just want to make sure it's above because her eyes are a little on top. Like they're not like on top, but like they're above her nose, and like her nose is a little above. It's hard to explain, but you'll see. Okay. And next for her hair, we're just going to simply do a line for here from Stitch's ear to her head. And then she has a couple of shoulders, of course she does. And we're just going to do 2 bumps like that for now. Just like so. And then a oval for her hand. Perfect. All right. So it's very basic there, but that's kind of where we're heading from here to the next finalized lines. Okay, so next part is, I'm going to sharpen my pencil real quick just to get prepped up. We're going to start off with Stitch here, and still we want to keep it light because we're not necessarily getting fully into like the details yet. We still have to establish his facial features and stuff. So we're first going to start with the nose because the nose is kind of the center of his face, and it's easiest to start off from the center of the face usually because you can work out and then, or in from out. That's kind of how I usually draw the characters, that whenever I draw cartoon characters, because that's how I've learned from the past, from Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all this iconic characters. And so what I'm doing, I just did a circle for his nose, not too bad there. And then what I'm doing for his eyes, they're two oval shapes, and they're just right next to his nose. This eye is barely peeking out from the side, but it's following this angular shape that we have here that goes around here. It sits above this line that we did in the middle, but it's not directly on it. So once we have that, I'm going to do two oval shapes for the highlights in his eyes for now. And then once we do these, we're going to start with his mouth here. And his mouth is really big. It's just it's a little below this middle line that we did. And it's going to start off with a curve. It goes in like an S curve. It's a really like it's not a dramatic S. It's just like a squiggle kind of thing. And so that's going to stop right about here, and then this is going to connect the whole thing. We're going to follow this curve from the circle, and we're just going to simply go up. We're going to connect it just like that, all right? So once it's there, we're then going to do his teeth. And his teeth, we don't have to worry about too much right now because we're still doing the general outline of the whole thing. But from this middle line that we did from the head, this will tell us where the center of his face will be and also where the center of his teeth start, because when your teeth, you don't start with just one tooth in the middle. You start with one and one, and you keep on going from there. And then so we're going to just do this line, and we do two on each side, and then I'm going to do several teeth going from there to the end of his mouth. There's 5 teeth on each side, but the other side of it, the left side, we only see 2 of them. So that's good. We don't have to worry about all 10. And now for the bottom, I'm going to start off with doing a oval like that, another oval like this, and then we're going to do a triangle right here, and then we're going to do another little triangle, and then another little triangle, like this. It's kind of confusing, to be honest, I'll admit, because there's a lot going on in the mouth. But once you kind of see the end result, and when we get to the more finalized lines, you'll see what I'm communicating. I'll zoom in a little bit more in a second. Now for his tongue, what we're doing is just doing a curve that lines up with his teeth on the left side, and we're just going to do another curve inside of his mouth to make that tongue. So that's basically it for his mouth, all right? Okay, now I'm going to do another oval above his eyes, because this is going to be where his eyebrows are going to be. And so I'm just going to do this, and then another one kind of above right here. And now for his ears, we're simply going to start with this triangle here, and then what we're going to do on this straight line here is we're going to go a little in from that straight line we did. And we're going to make this S shape kind of that's curving in and then going out like that. Okay, and then once we get to here, we're going to make this curve that we did, and we're just going to follow through. And we're going to stop right about here. And then this is where we're going to do the triangle, the little cutout of his ear. I don't even know how we got that, but it seems kind of painful, to be honest. Like, how do you get a piece of your ear cut off? But anyway, we're going to just connect that there, follow through that line we did, and then to finish off his ear, we're just going to go from the top here, and we're just going to kind of curve it all down like that. All right? There's not too much going on there, which is nice. And then for his other ear, there's not too much going on even at all here, because the other side of the ear, the inside, is covered because we're on the other side of him. So this is just going to follow through like that. And that's basically all we're going to get for his ear on that side. And then for his hair, we're going to do 3 strands, which is 1, 2, and 3. All right? And now what I'm going to start doing now is his body. And so to finish off his head, though, what I'm doing is I'm going to follow through the circle, but this goes in a little bit to follow the mouth we did. And it's just going to stop just like that, all right? Perfect. And now for his body, I'm first going to start off with this oval we did right here, and I'm going to connect it to the head by simply just doing a straight line connecting to that circle, all right? And so from here, all we're kind of doing is just tracing above these circle lines that we did, because his body isn't too complex, which is really nice. And so I'm going to go from here, from the circle, and we're going to connect it to his arm. Okay. All right. So once we have that, we're going to follow through here. And I'm going to make this oval that I did, I'm going to make it a little more diagonal in a sense, like that, because he's really leaning into that groove of surfing, you know. And so then I'm gonna go in with the circle. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I'm gonna move my. I'm imagine my oval going up a little bit, but this is just gonna trace over that oval we did, and it's just gonna go like this. And it's gonna go up into the oval we did. All right. And so now bring this over. Just follow through. And we're simply just gonna do. Let's go from the arm up here. The arm is a little easier to kind of address while we're here at this step. We're gonna go from this curve, from the oval we did, and we're just gonna bring it down like this. Somewhat like that. All right. And then we're then going to take this oval and we're just going to trace over on this side of the arm. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go over this yet because that's where her hand's going to be. So we don't want to do anything there. We're just going to jump over to the other side where the arm isn't. We're going to just finish off that oval. I'm going to bring it right about there. All right. Okay. And now we can move on to the leg. And the leg, we're just going from that curved line we did, and we're just going to bring it down. All right. Just like so. That's where the surfboard's going to be. I'm going to redraw that a little bit better. And then now for the body, he has a little layer of fur that's the light blue. And so what I'm doing is just, I'm going to kind of like just take the contour of this line and just make it more inside. And so then it's more like that. All right, sweet. And now I'm just going to do a triangle here because he has a little leash. And so we're going to do a triangle right here. And I'm going to do another diamond. It's going to connect right about here. It's kind of a square, but it's a diamond at the same time. All right, so now we're just going to do the hands and the feet, because that's all we kind of have to do left for Stitch. And so his hands are going to be a little complex, so I'm going to try to zoom in for you a little bit. For his hands, follow through from this oval line we did right here. And we're just going to start with from this triangle. We want to keep in the sphere of this triangle, because this will help cone in the shapes, all the complex shapes of the hands. This triangle will help us kind of narrow in for what the hand is made up of, what's the general shape of it. So I'm going to do this curve right here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a claw, and this claw is just a curve that goes out right here, and we're just going to bring it back in. Okay, and then from this curve, I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to go up. I'm just going to bring this down right about there. That's one finger. Now for the next finger, we're going to follow through this triangle like we have this line here, and I'm going to do the next finger, and it's going to go down, and it's going to do another claw. It's going to go right there. It's going to come back up. And we're going to finish off his finger by simply going in and then back up in here. Okay? And then for the third finger, we're going to go from here. And we're going to make a claw that goes down. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to bring it up with the curve. And it's going to go right up to here. And it's going to go down. And this is where the thumb's going to join in. So from this first finger that we did, we're going to take this line. We're going to bring it down and we're going to join it with a thumb by doing a curve. And we're going to start with this claw by doing this. And then we're just going to bring it up just like so. All right? Then boom, boom. We have the hand just like that. It looks a little complicated, but if you just keep that triangle, you see how it kind of looks like a triangle, like the one we did before. If you just keep and cone in on that, it'll be a little easier for you to follow. Okay? So I'm going to move on to the next hand. And that's kind of following the same kind of thing we were doing on the other one, where we're just going to go from this curve we did from the oval. We're just going to go from there, and we're just going to curve up, bring it down a little bit. We're going to start off with that claw again. Want to make sure both hands are the same size, of course. I know it can be confusing to kind of keep in proportion with the whole thing when you're kind of coning in the details. So you got to make sure it's important that you're kind of looking at a broad view and seeing, okay, does this match up with everything? So that's kind of key with every art piece you do. You got to make sure it matches proportionally with everything else. That goes with lighting, shadows, colors. Everything has to kind of coincide with each other and make it all work together, you know? So what I did here is I'm doing another claw by doing a curve, and then I'm going to connect that curve by going up a little more, just like so. And then for the third claw, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit, and it's going to go up like this, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit. Now for his thumb, I'm just going to do a nice curve like that. And to finish off the finger, what I'm going to do is just going to bring this up just like so. Alright. But boom. Kind of looks a little wobbly right now. It looks disjointed, to be honest. But his hands are kind of weird. That's kind of the character of his hands. They kind of have their own thing going on. Okay, so for his foot, we only have one foot to draw because his other foot right here is hidden from the surfboard. We're going to go from this curve that we did right here, and we're just going to make an oval that goes up and over. This will be a little bigger than the hands because this is more up close to the camera or our perspective of the scene, because his foot is kind of leaning out while his arms are kind of like here. So we're just going to make it a little bigger. And so from this curve, we're going to do another line, and we're going to do a curve that goes for a second toe. And this is just going to be a claw. And the claw is kind of like an oval, but it's kind of sharp-ended, so it's not like fully like an oval. And then for his last final toe, it's a little hidden, so you don't have to draw the whole thing, but I'm just going to do a curve, and then I'm going to do that claw shape right there. All right? Now let's finish off for his collar here. What we're going to do is just going to do a curve right here, and then we're just going to do that diamond shape we did. We're just going to outline that a little darker so we kind of know where to go from there. And it's just two contours inside the diamond we already did. All right? But boom. And now, if we want, let's just do the nose kind of thing. The nose is just basically, we go from here, we curve in, we go under a little bit, and then we're going to go up like that. All right? So that's basically kind of the nose there. And the eyes are pretty much all done there. If we want, we can do these curve shapes. I'm going to darken up this nose a little bit so it's easier to kind of know where the nose is placed. All right. Okay. So they have two kind of curved lines up here for his wrinkles. I don't know if they're wrinkles, but there's something, you know. And then he kind of here has under his eyes. I'm going to darken in his eyes a little more too. He kind of has this going on. Bring this in a little more. I'll do that right there. So yeah, he kind of, for his eyes, he has these eyebrows that we kind of did a little bit ago, but we're going to darken in a little more. It's going to go up and over. And then this is very light because this isn't really a line. It's kind of just the coloring of his fur is light blue around his eyes. So if you want, you can just kind of do lines to kind of indicate that a little bit. And then he has a little wrinkle right there too. And yeah, and then for his other eye, I'm just going to darken it a little more so we can kind of address where it is again. All right, kind of connect that there. All right, I'm going to do that oval right there. Okay, and then do that dark eyebrow there. And then do this last one right here. And voila. I'm going to make this a little more. Do that a little bit. So that's basically it for Stitch right there, which is pretty awesome. It's not too complex. It just takes a lot of time to get into the details and figuring it out, you know. So let's move on to Lilo. She's not too bad, so that's nice. So let's do it. So for Lilo, we're going to start off with her nose. And so like we said, like we have this line right here above average in her middle face. We're just going to go with finding her nose, which is basically an oval, but it's not like fully drawn out as an oval. We kind of want to just do the outside of the ovals, if that makes sense at all. I'll kind of draw it out here. But we're just going to do the facial features and the layout first, so we don't have to worry about it yet. And so for eyes here, we're going to follow with this line that we did, and we're just going to go 2 ovals like so. Not too big, like Stitch's eyes. He has huge eyes. Sorry, Stitch, but they are cute, though, I'll admit. Okay, so I'm going to do that now for her eyes. They may not look as detailed right now, but it's all good for now. And then for her mouth, what I'm going to do is She kind of has this S shape here. And this is going to go under like this. Kind of, it's a little more bigger and open. And then she has 2 bumps for her tongue here. All right. And now for, my voice, I'm kidding. No. For her eyebrow, it's just a line like that, kind of following that curved oval shape. Her ear, she has an ear right here. Okay. This kind of goes down with her head a little bit. There's a line that goes down a little bit right here. It kind of follows through right there a little bit. Okay. All right. So, and now for her hair too, if we want to get the basic kind of shapes of her hair, just do a line there. And then she has a little curve going on with her hair. So this kind of just connects to stitch right there. And then this is just going to finish off right here with another kind of S shape. It's going to end right there. It's going to end right about there too. All right. So now I'm going to sharpen my pencil, kind of get to the details real quick. So for Lilo, for eyes, I'm first going to do the nose, because it's the center, and we can work from in from out. So that'll be easier for us. So I'm going to do that real quick. So for her nose, this is what I was meaning a little bit ago with her nose. We just have to do the lines that are outside of her nose. So that's just basically doing 2 lines there and doing this line above, but we're not connecting those lines yet. And then we're going to do 2 nostrils like that. All right. And then we'll do her eyes now. And then for her eyes, they go up and over, just like so. And they're just going to connect like this. Boom. That easy. All right. And I'm going to do this one over here. This one goes up. It's going to curve a little bit. And then this is going to come back down. Just like so. I may actually redo that. Something with this eye is getting me off a little bit. Don't mind me. Okay, so for her eye, it's like right here. I think it's a little closer. Okay. It's a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. I like that a little better. All right, cool. Now for eyes or pupils, I'm just going to do 2 circles here. And inside these circles, there's more circles. Because I don't know the shapes of an eye. I probably should. But there's a iris. And there's kind of like the colorful part of the eye kind of thing. And so, do another circle for that pupil, the black part. And then you're going to do an even tinier one for a highlight in her eye. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Pretty cool. I like that. Okay. So, and then for her mouth, kind of already did the basics of it, so which is nice. Just going to go back in here. Curve it up a little bit. Bring this, she has a little dimple there. I'm going to bring this under, like that. Voila. And then her tongue. She's like, cowabunga. Okay, cool. And now I'm going to do her head shape here. And so following along with that oval we did, just going to bring it down. Bring it up. And it's going to curve a little in right here. And then it's going to go up. curve this a little more like here. Okay. And then her forehead's a little bigger, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make her head a little bigger by just keep on going up a little bit. And then this has a curve right here. And then just going to finish off her hair like that. Okay. And then if we continue back over here with her ear, it's just simply a curve that goes up right about to there. Okay. And this kind of just continues in from here and connects like that. And now for her eyebrows, what I'm going to do is just simply go like this. Alright, for her ear here, she has a little curve that goes in right here, and she has another curve inside, and she has another line right about there. So that's kind of her ear there. And now for her hair, I'm just going to do this, kind of just making those curves that we did a little bit ago. Kind of goes in like that. And her ear is kind of peeking out there a little bit too. Alright, and then for her shoulder here, let's bring this down, this line that we did. It's going to go just right about to there. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the shoulder. Okay. Alright, and then to finish off her hair, go back up here. Do this kind of a two kind of triangle shapes here. And then this is going to go down like this. And then her hair is going to finish off somewhat like that. Alright, and then I'm going to finish off her shoulder here by just doing this, connecting to Stitch's head. And then her neck kind of peeks out a little bit right here. We do a little curve. Bring this in right here. And she has a curve right here for her bathing suit. Alright, and now for her hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from his head, Stitch's head. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to stop right about here. Bring a line that goes down. I'm going to go up, in, go down again. Do another in line there. And for the final finger, just kind of fit this in there like that. Boom. Alright. Alright. Now to finish off her hand here, I'm going to kind of bring this curve down, and then we're going to do another curve like that. Okay guys, so this is kind of it for the general outline of Lilo and Stitch. It kind of came out really cool. I'm really excited to color this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a time lapse of the coloring real quick, and then we're just going to see the final product, and you can just follow along with the coloring at the end and just see how I did it. And so yeah, let's get to it. Alrighty guys, here's the finished product. So I just basically used colored pencils for this, and if you want to just follow along and just reference this photo, you could definitely just color the way I did it. But I'm just going to sign it real quick. It's always one of the most important things is to sign it, and always do the date as well, because that is important so you can see your progress throughout the years to come. So yeah. Alrighty guys, it was a pleasure working with you today. Thanks for following along with me today in this awesome tutorial. I had a great time doing this. I hope you could just comment down below, tell me what you would like to see next. And yeah, because I want the channel to grow, and I would love to do different ideas too. So if you have any other different inputs of video ideas, that'd be great. And so I appreciate you guys. Alright, well I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good one. God bless you.